Lewis, let's start with you. How does Green Bay compensate for the loss of their top 2 receivers?
Yeah, I think this game, Max, has to run through the running backs and the tight ends in particular. That's where it has to start. And that means that Aaron Jones is going to have an Alvin Kamara-like workload in this football game as a traditional running back, running the ball from the backfield, catching the ball out of the backfield, screens, draws, lining up as a wide receiver, detached from the formation and running wide receiver routes. I think his touches tonight have to be at a maximum, and he has to be willing and ready to take on a maximum workload because they're going to need it in order for them to produce the kind of explosive plays that you're going to need in order to keep pace with the Cardinals that'll probably put up 21 plus in this game because that's just what they do. Robert Tonyan has to control the middle of the field. He has to be more than just a touchdown producing machine. He has to be a third down producing machine to keep the chains moving. And both of these guys, look, Aaron Jones has already proven he's one of the best running backs in the NFL, bar none. He just is going to have to increase his touches. Tonyan has to be big in the middle of the field. And somebody at wide receiver, somebody, whether it be Randall Cobb, Equanimous St. Brown, somebody has to stand up tonight and be like, look, I'm going to be that third level guy, which is probably going to be St. Brown. I'm going to maybe be able to produce 1 or 2 big plays down the field in order for us to at least have the fear or strike the fear in the Cardinals defense that they can throw it over the top, because without it, it's going to be a tough night.
Ain't going to be Valdez-Scantling either, by the way, because he still ain't playing. Jeremy, what are you hearing about the Packers' chances on the road, shorthanded, against the only undefeated team in the league?
Yeah, well, Max, the Packers love that they're putting the ball in number 12's hands, and Aaron Rodgers would not have it any other way. I checked with somebody with the team who said Aaron Rodgers lives for moments like this, down, depleted. Nobody's picking him. Everybody's picking the Cardinals for the most part. This is where Rodgers comes out and has those 3-4 touchdown games, and he finds a way. I look back at 2019 when they missed Devontae Adams for 4 games, and to Lewis's point about Aaron Jones got at least 7 catches, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns during that stretch without Adams. So they utilized Jones not only in the running game, but in the passing game. 6 different guys caught at least 1 touchdown pass during that stretch as they won all 4 games without Adams. So Rodgers is the engine that makes all this go. We know the top 2 receivers are out. We just heard that Marquez Valdez-Scantling, his deep threat, is out. So he'll just utilize other weapons. That's what Aaron Rodgers does.
Guys, I said before the Rams game this year, I love these moments in sports where our view of the world changes in ways we don't even really realize. That if the Cardinals could go to L.A. and beat the Rams and Kyler played big, we would think of him differently. It's not just like he's one of these guys who's maybe ascending. We'd think of him as kind of a fixture in the constellation of NFL stars, right? And that's what happened, I think. This game is the other big one so far for Arizona, in my opinion. But guys, here, there's more downside for Kyler. Like, he's supposed to win at home with Green Bay depleted and on short rest. And nevertheless, here's another game, guys. I want to get your opinions on this here. Here's another game, it seems to me, where the way we think of things will change. He wins, he's the MVP frontrunner. Lamar just lost, maybe Brady, but Kyler has been doing it all year. He loses and Aaron Rodgers wins, as Jason Williams pointed out on the radio this morning. All of a sudden, hey, Rodgers, we're not really talking about him that much. What are your thoughts on the importance of this game for Kyler, Lewis?
Yeah, I think you're on the right track here. I think it's about expectations now. The Cardinals fans and people watching the Cardinals don't hope that they play well. They expect them to play well, and they expect Kyler Murray in particular to play well because this offense is set up that way. It's set up that way with a very strong running game, with Chase Edmonds and James Conner. It's set up with a very strong passing game with the addition of Zach Ertz to go along with D-Hop and Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore and A.J. Green. I mean, there's weapons all over the place. And Kyler himself is in a nice rhythm. So although the NFL itself isn't about style points and it isn't on a ranking system like college, the MVP is. The MVP is about style points. The MVP is about spectacular plays. And the MVP mostly is about doing what you're supposed to do and what you're expected to do. And they're expected to win this football game given what Green Bay doesn't have. And you're right. If they don't, then all the questions are just going to come into play, and all the nitpickers and naysayers are going to come just kind of rushing in and going, the Cardinals never were for real. Kyler Murray never was for real. This football team can't be taken serious. J.J. Watt, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, they need to win. They need to win big.
It's a great point. Style points count. All right, time for Zero to the Max, guys, where we tell you if our confidence is in an offensive star is 0-50 or all the way to the max in their matchup with a defensive stud. Lewis, your confidence in Big Ben versus Myles Garrett.
It's not very high. It's 0 at this point. Look, if this was Ben of 10 years ago, I would say, look, my confidence is it's 50-50 who could win this battle. But look, Myles Garrett is a freak, man. He's not real. He doesn't look real. He looks like something that should be on a superhero cartoon. And look, Big Ben is just not the same person as he was 10 years ago. He's just not. And his offensive line isn't that good either. So I'm going to go with Myles Garrett on this one. The Browns know how important this game is, and Myles knows how big of a game he needs to have.
And presto changeo, I've turned Jeremy Fowler into Sam Acho. Jeremy will be joining us again in a minute. Hey, Sam, your confidence in Derrick Henry versus Darius Leonard, 0-50 or to the max?
Oh, it's to the max. Derrick Henry is an unstoppable force, and there are no immovable objects in his way. Look at his stat line. It goes rushing yards, 182, then 113, then about 150, then 143. And then he's 3 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 3 touchdowns. And then if you even stop him from running the ball, he'll just pass it on you. And so my confidence is to the max. No one is stopping Derrick Henry.
Well, I agree with both of you so far. Now, Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore. Guys, I'm actually at a 50. Look, I think that Brady has multiple weapons. If he doesn't like the matchup, he doesn't need to go looking for it. Even if you have a receiver who's good on a 50-50 ball and he's covered by a great defender, he can really pick and choose. So I don't think Evans is a disaster, even, no matter who he's up against, because of how Brady can spread it around, and yet he's up against a real good defender. I'm at a 50. Here is Tom Brady speaking today. Kimberly, with the Panthers not pursuing Watson, what are you hearing about, around the league on whether or not Watson will be traded by the deadline this year?
So going back, I feel like we've been talking about Deshaun Watson in this situation for months. Going back in the offseason, people in the NFL had said he's a phenomenal talent on the field. A lot of teams would be interested. However, the unknown that existed months ago still exists now. Because as you heard Roger Goodell say yesterday at the owners' meeting, there's insufficient information for us to determine whether he can go on the commissioner's exempt list. We don't know what the resolution will be with 22 lawsuits against him. And any team that trades for him, I would think, logic would dictate that you would, if you're going to trade for him at that risk, you're going to give up a lot of capital, you at least want assurances that if he's suspended, if he's found guilty of these allegations, that you can get back whatever collateral you gave up to get him.
Yeah, by the way, 22 lawsuits, 22 separate women making allegations, and he has not yet been held accountable or resolved any of that issue has not
guilty,
been resolved.
Innocent. Yeah, we don't know.
Okay. Mike, along the lines of what Kimberly just mentioned, what level of offer from a team for Watson, put on your GM hat and analyze this and read the tea leaves, what level of offer do you think indicates they believe he'll be on the field soon? A first-round pick? More? How much does a team have to give up before you go, yep, they believe he's going to get on the field pretty soon?
Yeah, context is everything here, Max, and Kimberly laid it out absolutely perfectly, which is you can't give up too much in terms of draft capital without certainty, meaning if you know that he's going to be suspended for 6 games or more or less, you may give up more draft picks if you know that going into next season, he's 100% in the clear. Without certainty, I would not give up more than 1 pick, and even that 1 pick, Max, would have conditions, meaning if he plays 80% or more of the snaps in any season, then I'll give up a first-round pick. But without certainty from the league and all the other legal situations he has to resolve, I would not give up a firm first-round pick because you simply don't know, A, how long the suspension could be, and B, when it'll happen. Because if you go into next season, we're not talking about another position player. You're talking about your starting quarterback and all the reps that they take to get ready. So that's why, without certainty, I would not give up a first-round pick. There would have to be conditions tied to it.
Yeah, I don't think, to my mind, in the history of the NFL, a player this good and this in his prime, a quarterback, has ever been moved, right? Like originally it was, I don't know, what's going to be 4 first-round picks? Like, what do you give for that? That